Ho bisogno di fermarmi.
Perché?
Devo fare la cacca.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Background Podcast. I'm Ryan from Cultsploitation.com, and I'm joined with my co-host, Martin.
How's it going, partner?
Yeah, a little partner. Doing well. Today, you know what? First of all, let's talk about the biting cold that we've been having lately, because that's relevant. You know, sometimes we're like old men talking about the weather at the beginning of the intro of the show, but this time it's actually relevant. So we've been having some extremely cold weather. Especially for our area. I mean, it's not super common for us to be in the negatives most of the time, but it's been pretty cold, and we just got slammed with a bunch of snow last week, which I think also a good portion of the whole United States got slammed with snow. It's pretty much widespread.
I always laugh hilariously when like a storm like gets below the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
What do we do? Freezing rain! Honey, the pipes are gonna freeze. Crack your cabinets open. And it's like, you know.
We can't all be experts in the winter weather.
It's just funny.
Yeah,
like,
no, and
you go tell that to the people that live up in like by the Great Lakes or on the Tokyo Plateau. You know,
I mean,
just see the snow. I saw a picture after that storm. Like there was a guy standing in Oswego. Already gets hammer fucked with snow, but the snowbanks were like over like 7 feet tall. It was like a guy and a half, like for height.
It's true.
It's just funny.
I mean, I will say that it's the same way up here. Even with the storm coming, like the shelves were bare. People were flying into the stores, ripping things off the shelves because we're going to have maybe 2 days where you couldn't easily get out of your house. So it happens here too, even though we get a lot more snow than some other places. But
that was the one nice thing, though, that we didn't get any of the... I was afraid with the storm we would get some mixed stuff, but it was just 2 feet of powder, so it wasn't...
But the reason I bring it up is because we're covering a spaghetti western today that is set in the snow. It's set in Utah in it doesn't say when, but I'm going to guess January sometime. Sounds right to me. And that's not very common for a spaghetti western to have a snow setting. Generally you think of them being dusty and, sweaty. A lot of times people are just overall sweaty in those movies. So it's kind of refreshing to see a snow-based spaghetti western. And like you said, the only other ones, I can't really think of that many off the top of my head. The only other ones that I could think of, and the one that's obviously most probably widely recognized now is, Red Dead Redemption 2, was, used snow to its advantage in its storyline quite a bit. So that's the only, the major Western style that I can think of that also use snow as a big part of the plot.
Yeah. And but shit,
lost it.
Unforgiven. My bad.
Unforgiven. Yes. Yeah.
And though I haven't seen it, The Hateful Eight. I do.
I have not seen that either. That's been one that I have not checked out yet. So it's interesting. I did watch part of the Adam Sandler knockoff that they did. I can't remember what that was called even, but I fell asleep during it and I didn't watch all of it, but I did see a part of that. But today we're talking about a spaghetti western that just recently released on 4K from Vinegar Syndrome's partner label, Film Movement Classics. It came out a couple weeks ago, and it was a big part of their their end of the year sale that they do, where they do like subscriber signups and stuff like that. And I bought it because, for one thing, people were really hailing it as a really great spaghetti western, just one I haven't seen before, one I hadn't even really heard of before. And not only that, I knew that it was going to sell out because it had a limited run, and it was just flying off. So you could just watch the numbers tick down as it was, because they had a limited number of options there. And so I bought it, and you know what? Sure enough, it did sell out, and now they're selling for like $200 on eBay. So you definitely it's gonna have a tough time getting that free. But I'm talking about the 1968 spaghetti western from Sergio Corbucci called Il Grande Silenzio, or more colloquially known in English as The Great Silence.
I think you meant Il Grande Silenzio.
Yes. Or said by the, whoever's dubbing Klaus Kinski in the Italian version. I don't know. It has a very, very specific type of voice in this movie. So, The Great Silence. Like I said, I have never actually heard of The Great Silence before. It's something that's never really popped up for me, but it was, directed by Corbucci, who, as I said, is actually a pretty well-known name in Italian cinema, specifically within the spaghetti western genre. He, very specifically directed Django, the original Django, the first one, the one that's, started it all for the other Djangos that were to come, which we did do. When was that? Maybe a year now? Yeah. About a year since we've done this episode, I think. When we made that accidental, we were going to do the other Django movie that we'd already done before, and we were like, oh, shit. So we pivoted and we did regular Django, vanilla Django. But yeah, again, Corbucci, pretty well known in the spaghetti western genre. It's even The Great Silence is actually even considered like part of a trilogy of films, like unofficially. They weren't really, made as a trilogy, but a trilogy of films in the spaghetti western genre that were actually pretty notable. Django being one of them, and I think we'll talk about, The Great Silence is another one of those movies in his wheelhouse that's very well done, and a very classic spaghetti western style with a twist. Had you ever heard of The Great Silence before? Has that ever popped up in your perusing of spaghetti westerns?
Negative. It has not. So I didn't really have any expectations going into it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice clean slate, nothing to poison or taint my viewing experience of this. Yeah. So that's actually a good thing, especially when it comes to a movie that you end up liking. So.
Yeah.
And by the way, as the historian of the podcast, we did the first Django 2 years and 2 days to the date. So
wow. Okay. So right on with the spaghetti westerns there.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that does make me laugh about this movie too, just looking at the production of it, is that it was written by like 4 different people. Corbucci came up with the story, and then 4 other people, including I believe his brother Bruno, were involved in the screenplay to some extent. That's a lot of people to write screenplays with, but
that's just the Italian way. You think of like you put the in a movie, and it's like, bam, Dario, what'd you do for Once Upon a Time in the West? I wrote 3 lines, and they're like, give him a credit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true too. And even IMDb makes in reference to the fact that for the English version, they changed the dialogue a little bit, and there's actually, they give credit to the dialogue writers of the English version too. So, interesting distinction there. I like that they had to change. It's not like I watched the Italian version. It's not like the Italian version is so like distinctive and like Italian-y that they had to really redo some of the dialogue. But I guess they were afraid Americans just wouldn't understand some of the references. Anyway,
we got to make sure everyone's like a hip cat, like
that's
knows what's going on.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Who does the music for this movie? I bet you can't guess.
I think it's this new up and coming guy that's been doing music for films.
Yeah. He doesn't have
really
many
took
credits,
never really took off. Poor guy, Ennio Morricone,
Actually,
just left to the dustbin of time.
Yeah. And as you mentioned too, also the composer of The Hateful Eight. So again, I'm going to assume that Tarantino was partially influenced by the great silence as well for that movie. Like I said, we have neither of us have seen it, but going to guess based on all of those items that Tarantino is a fan, for better or worse, for the great, as he continues to saunter down the surly lane.
Yeah, you know what? Just be like, okay, Grandpa.
Yeah,
That's
exactly,
right.
exactly.
You're right. Paul Dano isn't a good actor.
Yeah.
Grandpa, time for bed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add at the beginning of this, for the intro of this before we get into the beer talk and other discussion?
No, so I mean, we can, like I said, I didn't have any expectations. You just told me like I want to do a nice spaghetti western.
Mm-hmm.
Said, let's do it. And then when you told me what it was, I'm like, I have no idea. In fact, I even made a joke to you today as you're giving me the Blu-ray. It was like, I wonder like what film this is. Like, usually these Italian films that we do here are the ones that have like a paragraph on Wikipedia and that's it. And I was wrong. And it has like 30-page thesis for Wikipedia, so
yep,
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Did you know anything about it?
No, like I said, I hadn't heard of it until I saw it being released by Vinegar Syndrome's partner label, and then I was like, you know what, I gotta check this out. It's spaghetti western, looks really interesting. So I was like, okay, I'll grab it. It was a blind buy for me, and happy I did so, as we'll talk about. And also serendipitously, I just wanted to point out too, I did have spaghetti tonight for dinner, so it's really. It prepared me. It got me ready to talk spaghetti westerns. Western D spaghetti, as I like to call them.
Yeah, spaghetti.
That's right.
Should we give Tim Heidecker a check every time you say that?
Yeah, spaghetti.
Or do you think he's got enough money?
I think he's probably. He must have enough money if he's just doing office hours every day. Right? It's like, don't know if it's raking in the dough. But.
It's a passion project.
Yeah, exactly. Just like this.
Just like this.
That's right.
But yeah, God, now I want spaghetti. I haven't had like spaghetti and like meatballs in like forever.
I know, it's great. Sit down with a nice spaghetti western and a bowl of spaghetti. And you a bowl of spaghetti or a plate spaghetti person?
It depends. Like if you're just eating that, then yeah, a bowl. But if you have like a nice side salad, some garlic bread or whatever, or nuts, then yeah, on plate.
We're generally a plate spaghetti people.
Like a lot of pasta, I eat out of a bowl. So
okay.
Because if I make like chicken riggies or something, then it's like
it makes sense. It makes sense. And I think the sides of the bowl do help to kind of twirl that spaghetti around and get in, but. I guess that's neither here nor there. I'm just curious what kind of spaghetti fan you are. What kind of spaghetti person are you?
Listen, to be fair too, I think one of the reasons why I haven't had it in forever is angel hair. Is just not one of my favorite pastas. It's
okay.
I think penne, rotini, rigatoni, they all like have are better vessels for things. Get the sauce into the crooks and like the vegetables and all that,
Well, no one's saying you have to have angel hair. You could have thin spaghetti. You could have spaghetti. You could have linguine. You could have fettuccine. You could have.
Well, that's not spaghetti.
Some other regular spaghetti.
Do love a nice fettuccine Alfredo.
Yeah. Nice. The fettuccine is that's a nice delivery vessel for the cheese sauce, right? Because it's got to be thick and it's got to catch it all. So it makes sense. Somebody really sat down and thought about the logistics of and delivery methods of fettuccine, and they said, you know what, this is really well suited for a nice little Alfredo. Anyway,
what about gnocchi?
I love gnocchi. I love it. I'm a big fan of it. Those little larvas that you just fill with pesto, you top with pesto and pop in your mouth. I love it. I do love the gnocchi. All right. With that said, let's get on to our beer discussion here. So for this week's episode, I got some beer, and actually it was just kind of something that I was looking for, a 12-pack, something that I wanted to grab that I would have available, especially because of the storm coming up, and I knew I was running out of beer. So just like, yeah, let me grab something that's going to last a little bit. So, I went to our local grocery store and I grabbed the Saranac Growler, which I've been seeing all over the place, right? Like I get a lot of ads on Facebook from Saranac that's like, check out our new Saranac Growler beer. Like it's 33% bigger than normal and stuff like that. It's like kind of this new thing that they're trying to package it in tall boy cans, but make it the same price as regular 12 packs of beer. And I think that's a cool idea. I like the idea. I'm never going to say no to having tall boys in 12 packs.
Yeah, 16-ounce 12 pack. You got me.
I'm wondering about the overhead costs for Saranac on these things. Like, is it actually not that much more expensive to just make a tall boy pack instead of a regular size can pack? Because again, you got to think about some of these other places where they only really make 4 packs of beer with the tall boys, if you did want to make a 12 pack of regular cans, now you got to buy all those smaller the regular size cans. You've got to, you got to have packaging for regular size cans, labeling you got to get for regular size cans. And I'm just thinking maybe it is more cost effective to just have a giant batch that you brew and you just put them in bigger cans, What's the overhead like on this? That's something that the one dude that does TikToks that I used to watch, like a guy from Chicago who worked for Revolution Brewing. That's probably something he would break down of here's the cost analysis.
Maybe it's with potato chip bags. The bigger they get, the less that's in. So it's I got the family size bag of chips, and it's it's still the same amount of chips in there. They just stretched it out. So maybe they add that extra aluminum, but they didn't.
Yeah, really.
Fill it up with beer.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a cool idea for sure. I just, I wonder about the logistics of it and how, maybe it's more cost effective. Because again, this was not more expensive than a regular 12 pack of beer, even though you're getting the tall boy cans. In fact, it ended up being cheaper than the rest of the beers that were there because they were also on sale at Hannaford. So, it was all around just a much better deal. And so I guess the only people that would be put off by this are people that don't sit down and have a tall boy. They're like, wow, that's just too much beer for me. That I cannot sit down and have what is it, 22 ounces or whatever? I don't even know.
This?
Yeah. What is it?
Wait, what? It's 22 ounces?
I don't even know.
No, wouldn't it be 16?
I don't know. Is it 16? I don't know. It doesn't even say. Oh, yeah, 16. Yeah, it's just 1 pint. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so, I was going to say, it's not like a tall...
No, it's not like the big ones, no.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, you said 33% bigger, so that'd be...
It's true.
Oh, my Lord.
I don't know. I know there are people, and there used to be people like that who would justify getting those little minis, right? Like the little...
Oh, the ponies. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I just can't drink that much. I can't drink a whole 12-ounce beer. I need an 8-ounce beer. It's dude, what the fuck?
You're at the bowling alley and hey, I got a bucket of ponies. Got 12 ponies in there. It's
you're I just can't drink a 12-ounce beer.
What I got?
I'll get 4 8-ounce ones.
It's like Harold and Hey Arnold when he was trying to lose weight and he's eats 8 Mr. Fudgy bars, but then he's I'll take 16 of the sugar-free ones.
Yeah.
Because it has half the calories, and then Arnold's you're just doing the same. And he's leave me alone,
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, this Saranac Growler is a hazy IPA. Like we said, it's in 16-ounce cans, 6.8%. And again, I think the whole idea behind this is basically just the can size. I don't think the actual beer inside of it is like really all that different from some of their other hazies that they've created. So what I will say is it's a tasty hazy, maybe on the bitter side a little bit. It's got a little bit of a bitter aftertaste to it. But I think it goes down smooth enough, especially for a 16-ounce can like this. I think it's sessionable enough where you would want to, you're good to go through one 16-ounce can. And I quite like it. And I think I would probably swing for this again because I think it's got a quality brew to it for a good, reasonable price. So I definitely think I'd look for this again if I was looking for something just to stock my fridge with. How about you?
Yeah, it's not bad. It tastes a lot like their hazies. It's not, overly juicy, like nothing like big on the fruits. You're right. It does have like a bitterness to it, like a West Coast, with like the hoppiness to it, like a kind of like a mosaic. Nice enough finish. Don't feel like that 6.8 too much. So yeah. It's nice enough. I think, as a 12 pack of 16 of them, 16 ounces, good deal. Can't beat it for, if you're looking for just like a all around, middle of the road, hazy. I will say a lot of people, if you're not from the area and you don't get Saranac, Growler is also a reference too, because they used to, and this is one of the things I used to like about them. They would put actual growlers out for sale. Like you could buy their seasonals in a 24-ounce growler, and it came with like a little cap and everything. So you could get like their s'mores porter for the fall, and you'd be like sitting by the campfire and like, got a growler of this. It's delightful. I want to be good for the night,
That's
so.
right.
And I like, too, that they have a bear on it. Like, too. Like, Growler looks kind of, like, ecto cooler, like with the font and stuff. So, yeah.
Like it. I like it. I like this trend. I hope they bring more trends like this forward. I like the reasonable price.
Especially in this.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's why Trump doesn't understand affordability, because he doesn't drink. So he doesn't know that the market is, just terrible.
Also true.
I don't like.
What's that?
The Bills lost.
True. Yeah.
And now I heard the Super Bowl's canceled, so that's so weird.
Just cancel it. You might as well. Trump won't be in attendance. You might as well just cancel it.
I'm going to make sure to be one of those people for like the halftime show when Bad Bunny pops on. Put the hat and glasses on, so I, fit I'm not watching this crowd.
The other thing that we have to get to, that we've talked about we need to get for the show, is the Tears of the Left whiskey that Rob Schneider is putting out. And you know what, too? I should point out, he really needs this because his wife is just divorcing him. So he really needs us to buy this bourbon.
Did she really?
Yeah. It was just announced, I think, like today or yesterday or something.
So, funny thing, when I was listening to MR Majority Report today, they were talking about the guy that sprayed Ilhan Omar with apple cider vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh yeah, he was drunk and like blasted. And they're like, oh yeah, they were looking up his stuff. Washington Post said like he's just recently divorced. And Sam was like, Jesus Christ. He goes, if you want to know a way to find out if someone's falling down the right-wing pipeline, if they're in their 40s or 50s and just went through a divorce and things are spiraling out, they're probably conservative. So.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it. And then, oh my God, I didn't even realize they also have a Kevin Sorbo edition of it too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I know he's a I know he's a sponsor. So
I didn't even recognize him, to be honest with you. He just looked like some other dipshit in a suit, like that Any of these
They
guys
got
look like-
listen. There's 3 other players who have not been unlocked yet that are gonna sign up.
I fucking love it. And it's a whole grift. It's like $100 to get like a stupid box with a passport of like, how many tiers did you trigger today? It's fucking, I love it.
Look at that. It's like a Crown Royal ripoff with the bottle and the label.
I love it. I love it. Like, there's definitely no way I would ever pay $100 for it, just to have on the show. But like, if somebody was like nice enough to just gift it for us and like, or just steal it, like I would be fine with somebody just stealing it.
Fucking $100. Wait, hold on. Hold on. The website has it like price cut from $100 to $99.99.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh god,
The whole ridiculous of it is awesome. It's great. We need to have it on the show, but we need to absolutely make sure that we say like, no Tears of the Left was actually purchased here.
In fact, we had somebody, steal it.
Yeah,
so,
we did. I love it.
God, like this is so fucking stupid.
If somebody were to get us the Tears of the Left, so I didn't have to have it on my credit card, I'd donate $100 to the charity of your choice instead. Whatever. All right. Anyway, Rob Schneider.
You would think like if you're like, here's Kevin Sorbo, like maybe that would be like Tears of the Left rye or like gin.
Yeah,
like
at least a different type.
No, yeah,
like,
it's just
like the what they call like the ghost whiskey, or it's basically just like moonshine. No, it's just the exact same bottle, exact same everything. It's just like Kevin Sorbo approved on this one.
Do you think like the distillers were like they're very like
yes, probably. Yeah, whoever they contracted is just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Oh,
like,
okay,
we'll just
so
make the whiskey, whatever.
So, okay, so they have. We're gonna do a deep dive on this. The Rob Schneider edition is the Kami Tearstone edition. The Sorbo one is the Snowflake edition. They have a globalist one, a DEI one, and a feminist one.
Yeah, I really like they have the woman looking very stern.
Yeah,
they haven't revealed yet. Who is that going to be?
I don't know, but it has like the purple-haired like potato cat hair thing, and a little like egg with purple hair and the rainbow sash. And
the other sad thing is that they had to pay a web dev big bucks to make this site because it's actually pretty well made. It's like the web devs are like, oh my god, what the fuck? So they have to use their talents for something like this. The other thing though too is I do like all the AI generated images that they got on here too. But it's great. It's great. Check it out. TearsoftheLeft.com. You definitely really want to check that out and see. It's really goofy.
Really join the club.
I'm really triggered by it. I'll tell you that. I can't. I'm so triggered. Somebody told Rob Schneider that hat looks good on.
The like third one, the globalist one, looks like it could be Conor McGregor. He's skinny.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
The hat on Rob Schneider looks like he's a third-rate magician, like,
or a comedian that's like, I can't say fag anymore.
Yeah, you're describing Rob Schneider. What do you?
Oh, damn it!
All right. Anyway, we got to talk about the Great Silence here, which again would be a great thing for Rob Schneider to do. Is just go silent. Just like the protagonist of this movie. What I meant to say was Il Grande Silenzio. Yeah, I love that. I love the Italian name of the Great Silence. It's great. I love whenever they say like Silenzio if you're watching the Italian dub. I love it. And I also love too this movie, the Italian dub. Again, this is a movie that was has a lot of variety to it. It's not, they don't just have Italian actors. They've also clearly have some English speaking actors. They have Klaus Kinski, definitely not speaking Italian in this movie. And, just like watching the Italian dub, it's great too, because you could tell all of these disparate elements are coming together to make this movie, because all of these are really collaborations between American, Spanish, Italian, French. It's great. We should learn from that. It's a melting pot of spaghetti westerns, Should be more accepting of different cultures. Anyway, The Great Silence, 1968, Sergio Corbucci. So the name really caught me off guard when I was watching the movie because it quite literally I was just expecting this to be like, oh, it's a play on the Utah winter landscapes, the Great Silence, the draping snow that covers everything and makes it nice and quiet. And and that's part of the idea as well. But more so, it's just that the name comes from the main character, whose name is Silence or Silenzio. He's adopted this name because pretty quickly into the movie, they show you that, he's had his throat slit, so he's actually mute. He can't talk. That's why he's silent.
And it's nice that the snowy weather, so you have a reason for him to be wearing the scarf that he does that.
Right. Yes, to cover up his scar. So it's kind of like that reveal too is kind of nice throughout. And it's kind of also a play on a lot of the other stranger type spaghetti western films of like they're quiet, they're mysterious, you don't really know what they're thinking. In this case, he literally cannot tell you what he's thinking or feeling. So, it's it works with the character as well to just make him silent and make him mute.
He didn't know sign language. What an asshole. That's
true. He doesn't even try to like give any sort of verbal or visual cues. He just, he just is like, you'll figure it out, the only thing that he really does is pull the scarf down, like, to explain why he's not talking. Other than that, he just is very happy with just, being quiet and no one really wonders about him. But yeah, I mean, I think again, so we talked a little bit about Django. This is again, sort of like the whole idea behind like the Clint Eastwood gimmick, of this mysterious stranger who comes into town. In this case, people know about Silence. He has kind of a cult following behind him. He's a guy who people just talk about because he kills bounty hunters. Basically, he just is, that's kind of his main mission. He just travels around and he's like, well, there's a bounty hunter around here. Well, I guess I'll kill him. It's just kind of his job at this point. He's a bounty hunter.
No, bounty killers.
Oh yeah, sorry. The bounty killers.
They don't take anybody alive.
No.
Hey man, if you bring them in, it's $20, but if you bring them in alive, it's $1,000. Yeah, well,
it's and that's kind of the whole idea of the movie is that there's just like a rampant surge in bounty killers that are just running amok in this Utah area and just killing people left and right. And then when they kill them, they bring them in and they say, well, I don't know. You said dead or, you said or alive. I chose to do the easier one.
No. I'm a bounty killer, not a bounty hunter.
That's right.
I only have one means.
And again, the main villain, the main character, bounty killer, bounty hunter is Klaus Kinski's character, Loco, who I guess from name alone, you're already like, guy doesn't sound like a good character. He sounds a little suspicious with a name like Loco. And he's basically just running around and like willy-nilly just grabbing bounty posters off the walls and just like, all right, let me find that guy. Let me find that guy. Let me find that guy. To the kind of comical extent, because there's this one scene at the beginning of the movie where he's basically just murdered like 4 people, just like shot them all down. And then the sheriff's coming into town because he's been assigned this because basically it's become an issue at this point. It's like, all right, there's a lot of people dying over here. Like, what should we do about this? And they have like the stagecoach that they're just putting these dead bodies on. Like, as Klaus Kinski's just like, no, I got another one over here. You're going to need to strap that on the top of the stagecoach as well. And we got to bring them back into town because I got to have proof that I murdered these folk. It's like kind of a free for all. It's kind of the same idea of like what people kind of think of as the Wild West, right? Of just like blatant disregard for law, and at this time, it was actually a law that it said it was okay. It's just like, yeah, your neighbor's been assigned a bounty. You can kill him if you want to. You know, it's it was kind of the lay of the land at that time. And
also,
so
too,
yeah.
I was going to say, the film does take place in like 1898, 1899. So the whole like Red Dead Redemption, you know, civilization's coming, you know, to tame the West, whether you like it or not. And
yes,
the end is near, is a big theme in this film of, you know, that the West is dying. And, so I mean, the old ways are going to be gone soon.
That's basically where the Sheriff Gideon Burnett comes into play, because he's basically been assigned to come up here and, you know, ultimately put a stop to the madness that's going on. And so that's another issue that, you know, people like Klaus Kinski's character have in this movie, is that like they've got this, you know, big shot coming into town. You know, it's gonna put up some new laws and, you know, force everybody to live the way that they think they should. And that was you know, especially for people who sort of lived on the outskirts of the law, it's kind of a chief complaint for them, because that's how they made their money. Basically. And I think, like, you know, too, the film really goes into the fact that, like, while they had a sheriff in this area, the town's really run by this one guy named Polycut, who is basically, they call him like the usurer, who is like kind of the lone guy. He's the guy that pays for the bounties. He's kind of an everything man, and he runs like a store, and you know, ultimately
I have everyone's favorite salted pork here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't afford that, miss, because your husband's dead? Don't worry, I'll loan you $10. You only have to pay me $20 and fuck me later.
That's right.
Have a nice day.
And I love the way that they made this Luigi Pistilli look in this movie as
those fucking sideburns.
The sideburns
coming to like the top of his lip, like horns on a devil, or like a bull. Like,
he's he's wearing almost like a Russian style, you know, hat as well. It's great. You know, they made him clearly look like a villain. And then not only that, he has like this scar that comes around by where the sideburns end. It's great. Like he looks great. Oh, and then also like the pince-nez that he wears too, like those little glasses that he's got on. They're like very small, like circular glasses that he wears. They all come together for like, okay, this is a real villain
douchebag.
here.
A douchebag.
Yeah. And I like too that the whole idea behind him in this town is basically like, yeah, he's doing this and he's making money, but what does he really want to do? He just wants to have sex with
one girl,
one woman in town. It's just like that's his main goal in this movie is to have sex with her. And it's like an overarching obsession for him that he just he tracks throughout the whole movie. Like that's basically his character, right? They don't really do much more to develop him or anything like that. They just kind of, that's who he is. He just wants to have sex with a black woman for some reason. Like, and again, this movie, it incorporates a black female protagonist, which is not very common either for spaghetti westerns. I think that's sort of, I can't think of another one either.
Or films in general in the late 60s.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, for sure. I can't think of another film, at least in the spaghetti western style, that really incorporated a black female protagonist. It was always sort of like a white woman in like a Spanish-esque town that was like, why is she there? But in this case, yeah, it's Vanetta McGee, who is also pretty well known in a lot of blaxploitation films of the time. Starred in a number of films, including Blackula and Shaft in Africa. She was also in. I think it's a cool incorporation into The Great Silence, and she, obviously, again, it's become sort of like this love interest for the stranger, which is fairly common for spaghetti western style movies like this. But it's a cool inclusion.
Took a day. of my husband being dead.
Yes, to move on. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. She's Erica Kirk over here. She's like, well, he's gone. I've got to find something else.
You know, to be honest, I was kind of hoping that they that they wouldn't do that, like, you know, like, because, you know, silence is silence, and
Yep.
you know, because it seemed like it was, but until Silence got hurt and she's being all womanly to him, taking care of
medical stuff that she does.
Yeah, Nurse Nightingale, and then all, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I think that the actual, like, the inclusion of a romance is sort of like at odds with the character of Silence, because, again, he's really painted intentionally in really one-dimensional elements. Like, you don't know much about him. That's on purpose. You do get a flashback sequence to really showcase, like, why he goes after bounty hunters and stuff, and his obsession. But it's really quick, and it's not really, you know, it doesn't really go much into his character. It just basically literally spells out why he has been cut in the throat.
Which is a great bit. It's like, has like the same amount of tension as like Once Upon a Time in the West, when like Henry Fonda's gang shows up and, you know, slowly murders the whole family, and it's just the kids left. You know, here he's a kid and his father gets shot and killed, and so does his mother by, you know, Polka and some other bounty hunters. And they're like, "You think the kid's gonna talk?" And he's like, "No," and he pulls a knife out.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah, and I agree. I think, like, the Great Silence really revels in this very quiet tension. You know, some people might call the Great Silence, you know, something like slow. It is a slower moving, slower paced film. It doesn't incorporate a lot of, like, territory or scenery or anything like that. It's really very moderately moving throughout, and it kind of stays in this one location in Snow Hill, Utah, where, you know, the town is situated, and it doesn't make a lot of movements outside of that. So some people might call it slow. I think it's very deliberate, though. I think that the whole idea behind it, set in the snow, you know, a very quiet but slowly ramping tension that it has, is very nice. I think it's a kind of a unique spaghetti western in this style. You know, it's definitely still in, like we said, the sort of Clint Eastwood Stranger or Django style, in that it has this centralized figure that the film keeps coming back to in Silence. But at the same time, it really focuses equally on Loco as a person, which ends up making a lot more sense as you get to the conclusion of the movie, for the film to really put a focus on Loco as a person, how he acts, what kinds of things that he does throughout the movie, to showcase, like, sort of what a bounty killer actually does, because it ends up making a lot more sense at the outset when you get to the end and you find out, like, Silence isn't winning this one. You know, and I think
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But that's like the difference in this film when it, I can't remember where Django was. I think, was it Django or the Django the Bastard, where Django gets like the shit really beat out of him. But like Clint Eastwood, like as the silent stranger, like never really gets, like, you know, the shit beat out of him. He's not, like, you know, allowed to have like that level of weakness. Like Silence is definitely not that protagonist here, because he may be a badass and a gunslinger, but he also gets his shit, you know, properly kicked in. So
yeah, and I mean, I think I actually kind of like that, you know, like, because again, I think part of the idea behind The Great Silence is to really surprise the viewer, in that, you know, the film does make a pretty distinctive point to, at least early on, showcase Silence as like a, you know, gunslinger. He's a guy who everybody knows. He, at the beginning of the movie, he takes out like 5 people right in a row, right, that are attacking this band of people who have been ostracized from the town, and they kind of live out in the outskirts in the snow and have to make do with whatever they can find. And the town has labeled them as bandits. especially, because that's the modus operandi that Polycut works under, is that if I ostracize people, they obviously have no food, so they're going to want to steal food, and then we could just slap a bounty on them, and and then we make our money that way. Like it's a really easy work.
We don't. As I say, we don't know why they're out. They're called outlaws. They're called bandits, but we don't know what they did because they don't really, Which is again though, the great point and twist of the film is because the bandits, those who are on the other side of the law aren't the ones that you're looking at to see get the justice.
Right. Right.
Because the system is corrupted and broken and a mess.
Yeah.
So
they've just,
it doesn't say so. It doesn't even matter. So I don't even think if they even boldly stated they were just farmers who were we don't have any food in this blizzard, and stole something. Put a bounty on all of them to die. You don't even need that because it doesn't matter, because when you see the bounty hunters, the bounty killers show up and what they do, it doesn't matter what, the so-called outlaws did, because what they're doing is, beyond reproach.
Yeah, and I mean, they kind of make it known here and there. They just say oh yeah, they're hungry, they're going to come and steal your food. Yeah. And that's sort of that's the whole idea of the scapegoat from, any kind of, fascist scapegoat element, is that we need some group of people, some poor bastards that we say, yeah, they're the problem. They've done it. They've come and they've stolen your food. And now we need to get rid of them because they're like rats and we don't want them to keep coming back and stealing our food. And for a little bit, the townspeople are like, okay, they do keep taking the bread sometimes. And, then they kind of go along with it. And then obviously it becomes more of an issue later on when they see wait a second, these guys are just starving out in the cold and they're coming here and they want some food, and maybe we should just leave them some food because it's easier than having them have to, break in and steal things. And I think that's, again, that becomes the crux of the position, is the film does a lot of 180s on you and no, they're not actually outlaws. They're labeled as such, but they're not doing anything wrong. Whereas the bounty hunters, who are perfectly within their legal rights to go out and murder all these people, are obviously sadistic bastards. Klaus Kinski is always great at playing sort of this sadistic, psychopathic character who, kind of has, he has a personality to him, but at the same time, he has this quiet evilness that, pervades his whole character. I think he does a great job here as Loco too. And not only that, but you have to applaud sort of the costumery and stuff of him wearing that ridiculous it almost looks like chainmail of an executioner that he's wearing. And I think the characters pointed out a couple times, they're he's wearing a lady's poncho or something that they point out that he's wearing. But it's great. He looks suitably demented and does a great job portraying it as well.
Well, it's because of that idiotic bowl cut that he has.
Yes,
that fucking kid and Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid's got nothing on him. Maybe that's who he grew up to be. Just never found a good barber, and he gets teased, and that's why he's all loco.
That's right.
Another part too, though. They talk about a little bit that also coincides with all of that stuff with the outlaws, is that there's a new governor who's looking to grant amnesty to all the outlaws and stuff, but he wants to get everything under, right, proper law and order, and do it right before doing that. And again, that's where the whole, I know this predates it and is an inspiration for it, but that's where the whole Red Dead Redemption, both 1 and 2, civilization, the state is coming to, bring civilization, whether you like it or not. We're going to centralize things, bring it, because the whole idea when you think about it is because it would have been I think when it was still the Utah territory. So it would have been a big swath of area that, where it's kind of makes a little bit more sense to have, local bounty hunters go and find and track down, reprobates and malcontents. But as you have telegraphs, railroads, etc. growing, the state doesn't need to put bounties up for people for crimes that are committed. They can do it on their own and bring them to justice under the actual,
right,
actual legal system. So
I think that's a good point too, because I think there's a good reason for why it's set in Utah in this winter snowy landscape, because no one else, you think like the actual government is sending out qualified people to go track these down in the snowy settings? No, like no one wants to be going out there. And even at the start of the film, when Sheriff Gideon's coming in and he's been attacked by the bandits and they steal his horse, and he's just kind of left out there frozen, like almost in a comical way when they pick him up. He's like got an icicle hanging from his nose, and like
he's like so like red and like shaking and like
it's kind of comical, but like again, it kind of speaks to the idea of like, well, there was a reason why they utilized bounty hunters, because like only the people that would truly need the money would be interested in going out into these freezing, deplorable conditions and bringing these people back in. And again, like the expectation was, we said dead, but we didn't really, we'd prefer alive. Like it would be great if you'd bring them in alive. And then these people are like, well, yeah, that's fine. But if I want to, I could make the same amount of money if I just kill like 10 people, right? Like
I can't remember what movie it is. I'll have to look it up after, but it's like one of my favorite lines ever. It's like we're like it's like a Western, and he's like, "Oh, I'll go get him," and like, "You ain't gonna cheat the hangman in my town." Like, bring him in alive, like, so
yeah,
which is true, because I mean, wouldn't that be more satisfying? Like, if your family was raped and pillaged, wouldn't you want the bounty hunter to drag them back, and so they could be taken to the local gallows, so you could be like, "Fucking do it."
Right.
Not to have them dragged back and be like, oh, yeah,
right.
To be able to see it being carried out,
And I mean, that also speaks to this movie too, and sort of like that whole idea of Polycut just making up these people who are outlaws. Is like the town doesn't even care. They're just like, what? Like, why are they killing all these people? We don't even know what their bounty is for. So it adds to that idea, because at the end of the film, they really make it known like the townspeople are fed up with Polycut. They're done with him. They don't want to, have him keep using them for his advantages. And so, they try to also stand up to the bounty hunters to ill effect. Like it doesn't work, but they do make it known that like these people are fed up with it too.
Oh, that's from Django Unchained.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah.
I was just looking it up, and I was like, no, that's it. That makes sense. Shooting the hangman in my town.
And I mean, I think that leads us to the harrowing conclusion, the ending, where there's this very prolonged, drawn-out sequence where Silenzio is already very hurt. He's been beaten. He has his arm burned because like a guy throws it into like this open grill.
Which is brutal. The whole fight after like the brawl fight, which takes him out, bar fight, it takes him out and kind of incapacitates him and gets him to have sex with
the raging boner.
Well, it's funny because the whole time I was thinking it was what does silence sound like when like mid coitus? Like
probably nothing. Like just like when he got his arm burned and he was like silently screaming, like like there's no sound coming out. Probably the same idea.
But it's just funny to think of, like, like, you done? And she's like, looks down and sees him, like, like,
yeah.
Like, it's, but no, like, but that whole bit is really brutal. The one henchman grabs his right arm and puts his hand into the burning pile of coals and holds it there for like 2 minutes. So after, when he finally like flips and puts the guy's head into the coals and throws him out the window, like for the rest, like the last like 15 minutes of the film, his hand is charred to shit. And like they actually like, keep showing that his hand is charred to shit and not just like wrap it up or whatever, So the brutality is there because, his bit is shooting off, their thumbs. He's going to have a hard time firing his gun from now on with, 7th degree, burns on his hand.
Yeah. And the film also does a lot. I mean, the film is actually pretty violent for spaghetti westerns, which often use just like sound effects and people falling over a lot of the time instead of squibs. The film is pretty violent. There's a number of shots where people are, violently bloodied. And, the film does make a lot of use of people shooting off thumbs because it's kind of hard to cock your gun if you don't have thumbs. And so
I would say that and headshots too. A lot of the people are getting shot in the head, and you see, you're not seeing like their heads, but you're seeing like a bullet hole and a pretty good squib to go with it. Yeah. So like it's the film's got this real good brutality to it that really and is especially visceral for this time. Because I think the Wild Bunch comes out I think a year later. Yeah. So.
And, not only that, it's very dour leading up to this conclusion. I mean, the whole film is really kind of like a downer. There's very little comedy to it. It's kind of, sometimes spaghetti westerns, they would incorporate a little bit of comedy. This one really has not much at all. Like you get maybe a little bit of Klaus Kinski joking, but even so, the jokes are kind of like psychopathic. It's not really something that you're meant to take like as very funny. And it leads up to this very harrowing conclusion where, like I said, it's very drawn out. Silence is, he's hurt. He's walking to the saloon where Klaus Kinski has every one of the outlaw bandits that have bounties on them basically chained up inside. And, Silence's last thing that he wants to do is try to save these people. So he's walking over to Klaus Kinski, and it's kind of the idea of in a spaghetti western where the stranger, he's been beaten, but the war's not over, and he's gonna go and the final showdown where he wins. And in this case, he loses big time. Like it's like a sort of like a moment where you're almost supposed to feel like how pathetic and weak he actually ends up becoming in that sense, and it's done on purpose. Like it's not like, oh wow, he's such a pathetic character, but it's done in a way where it's like he just really he can't do anything, and so his final act is just really even just sacrificing himself in an attempt to try to do it. And
I was saying, and it comes to no surprise that like what happens, like he gets, the one guy fires and shoots him in his other hand, his left hand, because like earlier in the film when Loco is rallying up the posse, he tells him like, oh, he's the one that killed your brother. So the guy that ends up shooting him, leaving it easy for Loco to finish him, you could see that like, because they show him like looking through the window constantly, to show that like, hey, it ain't going to be a clean fight, even with him, being beating him down. So,
I mean, I think it's really great. It's a moment that, again, like you're supposed to feel sort of pathetic and weak. And at the end, after Klaus Kinski actually ends up killing Silence, and then also, his new girlfriend, Pauline, they just murder all of the outlaws, just
brutally.
Yeah, brutally.
They don't just shoot at like each one dead. Like they unload like a whole. Yeah, they mag dump into them like it's St. Valentine's Day massacre, and
it is a massacre, and they draw attention to it in the final like rollout description of the events, which I couldn't really verify like that there was a snow hill, and what they were saying is like actually factually accurate, but like I think the whole idea behind it is really sound. I'm not sure that we needed the rollout ending there. Like, I think it's pretty clear at the end after Klaus Kinski says something like, he says something about like it being like, oh, it's all legal on the up and up. It's like, it was all legal. And then, kind of ending it right there, I think is a great little closeout moment where you don't really need to explain the whole idea of like bounty hunting was kind of bad, But at the same time, I think it's a really effective ending. It's not something that you often get from a spaghetti western where you have, that titular hero being completely, I guess, for lack of a better word or pun, silenced in this case. And I think too that this whole idea of vengeance kind of plays a part in The Great Silence, because a lot of spaghetti westerns are predicated on this idea of vengeance, like something happened to them in their prior part of their life, and their entire rest of their life is devoted to the vengeance that they so want from the, in the justice that they want. And a lot of the film's main ideas play out because of the revenge. Like Silence sets out revenge on bounty hunters because, his family's murder and his own throat being cut. And then you've got, Polycut, whose thumbs were blown off, so now he wants vengeance. And then, it's a cycle of vengeance that never really works and just keeps repeating. Which I think, again, like that's a spaghetti western to a T, but at the same time, I think it's nice in this movie. I think it's done very well, and it really goes along with, like I said, that very dour, downbeat feeling that you have throughout the whole movie. And I think the cold pervading that sense of snow is really great because it has some really excellent cinematography of, exterior shots, sort of like helicopter shots of just people riding through the snow, and you can just imagine, like, wow, that probably is cold. Living out in that wilderness, probably cold. I don't know. I love it. I think it works really well. I don't really have many criticisms of the film, except for maybe slightly extended a little too long. Maybe a couple of edits to some of the longer scenes that kind of play out, obviously for tension, but maybe a little bit too extended. But other than that, I don't really have very many criticisms of the movie per se. I don't know about you.
No, I don't really either. The only real criticism I would have, and it's nothing against it because it's just what it is it's a film that's is so good. I wish it was actually shot in real audio and not dubbed over, because imagine being up on those Tyrol mountains in that cold and being able to hear people
yeah,
really make that cold feel better. But I mean, that's just Italian filmmaking in a nutshell, because of them hiring 20 different countries to act. So
yeah,
that's the only thing that, and I would say that's about it.
Yeah.
that and Klaus Kinski's bowl cut haircut, just
yeah. And I think Ennio Morricone's soundtrack's used to pretty good effect as well. We didn't really talk about that too much, but
it's not doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not like the same theme as every single scene, which can happen sometimes. Like Two Mules from Sister Sarah, just so that's nice.
Yeah.
I won't say it's not one of his more memorable scores, but it does definitely.
I think it's pretty good regardless. Yeah. All right. So let's give The Great Silence a rating. So on a scale of 0 to 10, fortuitous snow poop scenes, which this film has a nice little. I love the Italian dub. It sounds like he says "gotta make a caca." It's
he does.
It's like a sort of like a caca I hear, and the English translation is, "Hold on, I've got to take a dump." It's great. I was kind of sitting there thinking, is this really the translation? But
mi scusi, a poopy.
I gotta make a caca. I love it though. I love the whole, and I love that he goes through this whole, it's actually kind of elaborate. He makes it really, he's really acting here. He makes it look like he's taking a nice dump.
Did he have that Winchester up his ass?
I don't know. That was the one thing.
Where did he get it?
This Winchester is in the snow. He knew it was there, but you're how? And is he pulling? Yeah, because again, the poop scene is kind of extended, where you see him kind of bending over and he's the sheriff's come on, let's hurry it up, and you see him. He's still kind of straining, but it's Is he like extracting a gun from his ass? Like, what's going on here? And then
now if this was 70s Italian film, we'd actually see the shit come out of his asshole. Like,
nice snow poop. I've never had one myself, but it makes me wonder.
Well, you can do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go out in the woods with my snowshoes and try it.
Bring the local paper with you.
That's right. Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm having a nice, relaxing snow poop.
Yeah,
I can imagine it probably would be kind of relaxing just out in the snow by yourself, just like a nice little steaming snow poop.
See like a rabbit run by me, like, I did that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's nice. The animal, hearkening back to your little animal instincts to poop outside. What would you give The Great Silence?
Give it an 8.5 out of 10. Like the film a lot. It's very good. We're not just suckers for spaghetti westerns on this film, or westerns in general. I also particularly love, not just because I also love Red Dead Redemption 2 till the end of time. I'm a big fan of the dying west theme, and to wrap it up in like a snowy hellscape makes it just setting wise brilliant. Love it. I love that idea and concept. It's, to me, is just like everlasting. It always works well. It's a lot of, got a lot of good gore, a lot of good action for the small bits that it does. Like, you definitely get your money's worth. The story, again, really good. It's got like some good themes on there. Got fucking acid reflux right now. But it's got like good themes on like, state power, state violence, laws, how they affect, and aren't good.
Yeah.
Is it like Wikipedia says, like an allegory? I don't know. I wouldn't go that far on the allegory. I think it's definitely got political motifs and themes, so like an allegory for anything. It might be stretching it, but it is, a well-rounded, well-thought-out film. It's engaging. It's going to keep you, if you like westerns, you're going to love this film. It's got everything you want in a film. It's got that Morricone score. Like I said, 8.5 out of 10. Very pleasantly surprised. Liked it a lot. Wish I had seen it years before. So
yeah, I would agree. I would give this 8.5 out of 10 as well. I think it's a really, really great movie. It does an awesome job of setting up the idea of what you would expect from a spaghetti western, and then kind of circumventing that and giving you something you might not be expecting, especially that, feel bad ending that it gives you. There are a couple alternate endings, but I think this is really the one that makes the most sense and really has the impact that the film is looking to achieve by showcasing this as being a huge problem at that time. And it's very prescient even to this day of assigning scapegoats and then, finding blame in them and then, persecuting them for no reason and, for your own monetary interest. It's, should we say, happening right now? Fuck ICE. And it's very much the same idea. We haven't really come any further from this. And so I think, like, even at the time, like you said, meant as like a specific allegory, maybe not, but as a, thematic spaghetti western that is meant to pose these ideas of like, who are really the bad guys when we give them legal authority to do such a thing. I think it works really well. And, again, I love the winter aesthetic to it, which is not that common for spaghetti westerns. I love the whole villain element to it that is, the film kind of follows the villain to some extent to give you a really like close up and personal view of him. And it's a great film all around. So definitely recommend watching it, especially if you're a fan of spaghetti westerns who you're kind of sick of the same, like, Django alternatives that you get a lot of the time. I think this is a really good one to kind of bolster your enthusiasm for the subgenre again. So 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Which again, like as you were saying, with like the whole fuck ICE theme and basic, the law not always being equal. Again, it's history that judges these things.
Yep.
Remember, the people who dumped out the tea at the Boston Tea Party were committing a crime.
Right.
And you just they just dumped tea. It's almost $2 million worth of tea they dumped out. That's a lot of tea.
Yeah.
Same thing with civil rights. Rosa Parks just didn't fucking, sit in the wrong spot.
Yep. Yeah.
Obviously there was, it was planned out boycott and whatever. But still, the point is, just because something is a law doesn't mean it's moral.
It's a good law, yeah. And that's funny too. Just thinking about the tea. Did they waste a lot of tea, or did they make a lot of tea? They dumped tea in water, so I bet you it was pretty fine tasting water.
Salty water.
Yes. Did they add a little lemon to it?
No.
Got some iced tea there. It's great. All right. I think for next time, I think we wanted to try to check out, if possible, Yeah,
Next week we're doing the new Sam Raimi.
Yeah, the new Sam Raimi film.
Yes.
That's pending if it comes to theaters around us, but I assume it will. I think it's getting.
Isn't it already out?
Yeah, I think it's. No, I think it comes out this week. It comes out the 30th. So I believe that we should be getting it.
So it'll be next week.
Yeah, it'll be next week. We'll be able to go and see it. So that's the plan, to see the new Sam Raimi movie, Send Help, and then
let me put it to you this way: if it's not local and I have to drive to Albany, I will.
Yeah,
and you pirate it from home.
I probably won't be able to. That's they unless I get a cam rip or something. I don't know about that, but yeah, and I think so. That's the plan.
I will FaceTime it.
There you go. Yes, you can go.
I'll FaceTime
the movie while I sit back.
Listen, the film's getting rave reviews, so
yeah. So that
I don't know why. I just
Johnstown's they have an early showing on Thursday, and yes, they will have it. So we're good to go see it. So we'll be able to do that, and so that's the plan. Send Help for next time, and then also we were coming up on a lot of different things. We're obviously for February going to do a blaxploitation movie. For Black History Month, we'll be doing Scream 7 as well. When that releases, I know that's in February at some point. I can't remember exactly when that's releasing, but we have to do it, of course. It's just kind of mandatory. It's at the end of the month, so February 27th, but kind of mandatory.
Will it be any good now because Jenna Ortega quit?
Yeah, who knows? I really don't know.
Which I don't blame her.
Kevin Williamson being on it, a plus. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, the new as we were talking about, because we were making fun of the poster that they have out for it. The poster that they released after we talked about it last episode. Looks pretty promising.
Yeah. It's better. It's better than the floating face one that is kind of all the rage with slasher type films. So yeah, we've got a few things planned. We'll definitely get to. But the plan for next week is Send Help. So, all right.
Then we're going to do a live episode from Hooters.
Yeah, with JD Vance
for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Where we will have wings that aren't good, and
remember the Titans on.
Dude, I feel so bad because all I could ever think about when I hear fucking... It's a good song, too. Anytime I hear James Taylor's Fire and Rain, all I can think about is that kid crashing his fucking Camaro.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, thanks for listening to our episode.
Why not Little Giants?
Yeah, that too.
Well,
with the FIFA coming up, you know what we need to do? The World Cup? Yep. We need to do...
Boycott?
Well, yes, we probably should, but no, not boycott, but a popular soccer film. What do you think I'm talking about?
Big Green.
Yes, exactly. We need to do the Big Green at some point here as well.
I have seen the Big Green a billion times.
Yeah,
I used to watch that movie all the time as a kid. It's been a really long time.
for me.
Well, same here. But like we used to watch it. Like somebody taped it because it was on. We had a tape film that had that Little Giants and another movie on it. You know.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna launch
what I
our
was thinking?
Steve Gutenberg.
Gutenberg,
series.
man.
Yeah,
that'd be great. I was thinking too when I was at Walmart the other day. What would be like a fun, stupid thing to do is how they have the big pile of sad movies, like the $5 shitty DVDs. Like if we just made that a series, like
$5 DVD thing.
Just like go grab her. Yeah, you don't even look. You just grab one and walk away. Like, oh, we're doing The Outsiders this week on this like 247p.
Yeah. Yep.
It'd
be fun.
I think that'd be.
A fun little thing where you just do that. Yeah, it'd be fun. All right. Well, thanks for listening to our episode on The Great Silence. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you snagged a copy. If you did, from Vinegar Syndrome and Film Movements. If you didn't, you're looking at like $200 right now, unless they start to release another standard edition. So crazy, but
just play Red Dead Redemption 2 and you'll get the idea.
There you go.
Yeah. Which apparently I didn't realize. Somebody posted on a Reddit thread when I was looking up like this movie's influence on Red Dead. John Marston's outfit when you find him like after getting mauled by the wolves in like the second mission of the game. Apparently he looks like Silence.
Oh, I didn't realize that, but yeah, I have to go
his outfit
back
or
and
whatever.
check. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if you liked what you heard, if you want to check out more of us, you should subscribe on any podcast app. I'm sure we're on it. Leave us a nice review. That always helps us out. We're on Facebook and Blue Sky. You can search for us in there. Blood and Black Rum Podcast. And you can write to us at our email, bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com, or you can let us know what you like, what you don't like, what movies you want us to watch, what we've missed out on, and we'll take that into consideration. And you can donate to us at our Patreon page. Anything you donate goes back towards beer. So we appreciate that in advance. Hope you enjoy the episode. We'll see you back next time for Send Help from Sam Raimi. And until then,
take care.